The Frozen North, Episode 9, our top 5 gateway games.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of The Frozen North, your source for the best that story-focused gaming has to offer. My name is JJ, and I'm here alongside my one co-host.
Howdy, y'all!
It's Brian, not Mark. I'm sorry. False alarm.
That was more Kermit the Froggy.
Hey, everyone, I'm Mark! Wah!
Mark,
No.
you don't sound like that, buddy.
I am sitting in his seat, though, so maybe I'll get some Mark aura on me.
I don't know. What do you feel like saying?
Hold on. I'm feeling some aura. It says, yeah, I was playing Saints Row 3. It's pretty fun. It's fun.
That is nailed it.
Yeah, I felt the aura.
I can tell. You're channeling him.
Yep.
Mark is out of town for the weekend, so today it's just Brian and I.
Yeah, we miss Mark.
We miss you, buddy.
We miss you.
He's out there for a friend of ours
Yep.
bachelor party.
Yep, they're going to have some fun times.
Absolutely. Okay, so episode 9. Today we're going to be talking about our top 5 gateway games. We also got a review of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be introducing a new segment.
Brand new segment.
Woohoo!
Well, we're going to kind of throw it out there. It might be a new segment or it might be an alternate show, but we'll...
Correct.
Yeah, so...
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, well, with that, let's get into what have we been playing.
JJ, what have you been playing lately?
I have been playing 2 games, and that's pretty much it.
That's not bad.
Well, other than Clash of Clans on my phone. I play that every now and then.
Mobile gamers.
It's not really... I mean, you go in and you're like, I'm going to set this thing to build, and then it says 12 hours. So it's not like I can play it much in between that because I'm just waiting for it to finish. But no, I mean, I've been playing Wind Waker, obviously.
Yep.
Like I said, we're going to be doing a review of that, so we'll get into talking about...
Now, we have 2 different perspectives on this review. JJ is playing the new remake for the Wii U.
Yep.
I played it when it first came out originally on the GameCube, so we'll have kind of like back and forth, I'm right, he's wrong type of situation.
Correct, but that's not true. So
It is true.
I've also been playing like crazy Pokemon X, and absolutely loving it so far. It's great.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it just, again, it follows one of those things where, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
Just like all the other Pokemon games, you go in and you just get excited about wanting to catch them all. And
Yep, gotta catch them all, Pokemon.
this one, I like this one because it's got almost an MMO feel, because you can...
Yeah, you can do all kinds of interactions with other players.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you get online and if you see one of your friends on, you're like, oh, Brian's playing, I'm excited.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna give him a power-up!
So then, yeah, you send each other items and all that stuff, and we're gonna try a few things today after we're done recording. I think we're gonna try and see if we can get voice chat to work.
Yeah,
which would be kind of cool.
Be pretty sweet.
So, yeah, but I'm absolutely loving it, and that's honestly about it, other than Netflix.
Yeah,
so,
I'm a Netflix geek too.
Brian,
I have been playing Dabble. I'm trying to finish up Uncharted on the PlayStation Vita. I'm like chapter 24 or something.
you gonna sell your Vita once you get done, since there's no other games for it?
You quiet down. You quiet down over there. No, I've been playing that like when I. So here's the thing. I also picked up Pokemon, but I picked up the Y version because I've heard it's like vastly different, and then there's like a whole new world out there, and it's way better. And people who buy X are stupid. So I bought Y, obviously, because I'm smart.
You say that I'm stupid, but just wait till you need something that only I can give you.
I know. I mean that with love. I mean, I'm sure if Mark were sitting in my seat, which normally he does.
I did not mean that
here.
in a dirty way, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Anyway, been playing, and I find that like Pokemon, and I told JJ this before the show that I hadn't played a Pokemon game since we're talking the Green game, Pokemon
which
Green,
is simply just blue revamped.
Right. So it's been multiple. It's been a decade, over a decade since I played a Pokemon game, and I came in. I went into it with like no real expectations. I was like, I'll probably play for a little bit and then get really bored, and I find myself superly addicted to it. Like JJ said, you just want to start catching them all and seeing how they evolve. And I find that Pokemon's nice to do. Like, I'm a big NFL fan, so on Sunday I'll just pop the games on and play Pokemon.
Yep.
Like all real manly men do.
We're totally. I believe me, I could talk about these games all day. We're going to be doing a review of it on an upcoming episode, though, so we'll hold off on saying too much, especially since I think we barely scratched the surface.
Oh yeah, I've only got like 48 Pokemon.
Yeah, we got a ways to go.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our new segment. I'm excited about this.
I am too. I think it's going to be a nice little extra flavor.
Yeah. Give a little background. When I first came up with the idea for this podcast, I'd been wanting to do it for years. And you can ask a lot of my friends. Like I always was like, oh, we should totally do a podcast about gaming and blah 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 whatever. Well, I would always be ready to do it and ready to pull the trigger, and then I would start thinking about what I'd have to do for it, like planning and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh man, news is going to be the worst, just because I don't know that well personally, like what news sites are the best to go off of and that kind of stuff. B, I frankly just sounded like a lot of work and I didn't really want to do it.
So he pawned it off on me, but I'm glad to do it.
Hey, you know what? I asked.
No, I that's fine. When I am at work, I have a desk job, and I have when I'm at work, I just sit there and I pour over all the websites, check out some news, and
yeah,
I was like, yeah, and Mark does the same thing. So Mark and I are just gonna take turns drumming up some news.
Well, and so that was the main thing that held me from even making a podcast in the first place. So eventually, and you guys, Mark's not here obviously, but you remember when I first sat you guys down and I was like, we should do this, blah blah blah. I was like, screw it, we're not doing the news because it's too much work, and I just want to talk about games and leave it at that. So, but now that we've got a few episodes under our belt and we're we got some sort of a ball rolling here, I think.
And we're gonna do our own flavor on the news. It's not just gonna be like this happened. We're gonna actually talk about in probably short little 1 or 2 minute segments about the actual article rather than just reading the article. Because honestly, you probably have already heard the news and stuff. So we're just gonna be discussing some of the big headlines.
And one of the interesting things is in the notes that Brian emailed me, I can see his thoughts.
I like to put my thoughts out there. How I feel about it.
And it's very insightful, like, damn it Ubisoft, and damn it Death, and damn it Nintendo, and yay Sony. So, and oh man, you got yay BioWare in there with a lot of A's in that yay.
I love BioWare.
You do, I can tell. But obviously we haven't figured it out. News is the new segment that we're going to be doing. We haven't decided whether we're going to integrate it into the show or maybe record it as the same time as the show and keep it as a separate episode sequence or something, and then release those on the off weeks. I don't know yet. We'll tweak it a little bit and see what happens.
I'm taking JJ out tonight, and we're going to wine and dine and talk about it.
Yep. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to wine and dine about the news.
Actually,
we're going to play Pokemon.
We're going to play Pokemon.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to play
I'm so excited.
I'm going to be like, JJ, do you have this one?
So, man, we need Mark here for his Morse code noise, because that sounds like a news noise.
Hey, Mark, I need something really super futuristic. Yeah, like
Morse code.
We're going to go so far forward that we're going to devolve back into Morse code.
He went all the way around to the end of time and back.
Right. So actually, he really went really far in the future. He
did.
Looped back around on itself.
Mark, great job, man.
Way to go, Mark.
Excellent.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, here we go. First up, Watch Dogs. Delayed until 2014.
Wah, 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 wah.
I think this game looks sweet, but I've been waiting for it for 2 years. This sucks, but it's not going to hit me that hard just because, like I said, we've been waiting for it forever already. So.
It just kind of reaffirmed my whole, I probably won't be buying a next-gen console until the next year anyway.
Yeah.
I think, I know JJ has said this, but I'm pretty much in the same boat. I think JJ and I are actually going to be waiting till Destiny to buy a PS4.
Yes, for sure.
So, we got to wait anyway, so it's not a huge deal, but I'm sure a lot of
you
people
can get Watch Dogs on PS3, though, anyways.
Right, but why would you do that?
Because you don't have a PS4 yet.
Just tell your mom or dad to pony up the dough, yo.
It's so simple. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, it's
I'll
easy
just
enough.
tell my parents to buy me one. You know what they'd say?
What?
They would say, "Don't you already have like 4 systems in your room?"
Yeah. Don't you already have like 4 Nintendo systems?
Yeah, everything's a Nintendo system.
Yep.
Old people.
Oh, yeah.
Mom and Dad, I love you.
Yep. I love you too, JJ's
You're not
mom and
old.
dad.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Okay.
I love Mark's mom and dad too.
No, you never even met Mark's mom and dad.
I don't care. Mark seems like a good guy. They raised him right.
His parents are pretty good people.
Yeah.
There. Next, Tom Clancy died at age 66.
That's a bummer.
That is a major bummer. Tom Clancy, if you don't know who he is an author of many of the books. He was a really, really big influence as far as gaming because, I mean, so many games came out of his books like Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six. Those games are huge. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it all came from him.
Absolutely. I mean, they were probably loosely based. I don't know if how much he had actual hands-on with the games, but still, when you lose like a big, gaming icon. I mean, he was more known for his authorship, but
Yeah.
it affects the gaming community because we do love a lot of his games.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have too much experience with his games, but I remember I played Rainbow Six, and I think I may have played Ghost Recon years ago. But I mean, Splinter Cell I know is huge.
I'm a huge Splinter Cell fan.
So,
Yep.
yeah. All right. 4 million copies of Pokemon X and Y sold in the first 2 days. One of Brian's comments here says, "Damn it, Nintendo."
Now we have to figure out why that is. So JJ,
We do.
why don't we? So seeing Nintendo's success on Pokemon X and Y, that's a handheld game. Okay, I know people are going to be like, yeah, but Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, that's not a handheld game. This is a handheld game selling just a bejesus amount of copies. So that's impressive.
Very.
So my suggestion to Nintendo is.
Brian thinks they should bring a Pokemon game, like a main series Pokemon game, to console, like main console.
No Pokemon Snap crap, no Pokemon Stadium. Although I did like the concept of Pokemon Stadium, where you can upload your Pokemon and play it in the stadium. That would be something I'd be into. But I would still prefer just them bringing out a Pokemon game to a fully fleshed out RPG to a console.
I agree to a certain extent. I think that the biggest reason it was portable was because of the whole trading aspect.
Right.
When it first came out, obviously you had to connect 2 systems together to trade. You can't really connect 2 consoles together.
We have the internet.
Especially
Age
back
of the
then.
internet, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I think there definitely is a better chance for it to happen now with the internet. But I think that was a bigger reason why it wasn't like that, was because there were these things that made sense to be on a portable gaming platform.
I see it.
So, I mean, but what the future holds, we have no idea.
Yeah.
But plus, it's a huge moneymaker for them on 3DS. I don't think they're even...
I've always said this. Nintendo's first-party games or AAA games, no one has the what's the word I'm looking for? Prestige that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, Naughty Dog's shown that Sony has some pretty good, and there's Halo, obviously. But when you think about the breadth of Nintendo's first-party platforms, you got your Star Foxes, your Zeldas, your Metroids, your Marios, your Pokemons.
You know what I think would sell consoles for them?
What's
if
up?
they were to integrate Pokemon into it, other than a main series game? A Pokemon MMO.
Well, absolutely. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be. You don't have to take the formula from the handheld games and put it on a console, but something that's a big, fleshed out game that has like Ni no Kuni, but with Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. I think they have so many reasons not to do it at this point.
Logically, that's like a huge.
So
I went out and bought a 3DS just for Pokemon, so I can get it.
That's a great system, though. Either way,
I love the handheld. Like I have a lot of things good to say about the Vita, but honestly, as much as I love the Vita, just playing the 3DS, buying it for like a week, I was like, yeah, this is better.
True enough.
All right.
Microsoft is going to have dedicated servers for all Xbox One multiplayer games. I don't think that's that big of a surprise.
It's news to the fact that it's reassuring Xbox One owners that they're committed to excellent online service.
Yep.
The downside to that is I know people for years have been like cross-platform. Let's have cross-platform. Let's have PS4, Xbox, computer, all playing on the same server. That's going to pretty much nix that side of it.
I would love to play an FPS on my PC against people on the console.
There's that whole argument.
Would be great.
But just for an example, if let's say on a cool MMO, we'll call it Marc's Happy Time Fun Time Land, where you play Saints Row 3 and it's really fun. That game comes out, and it comes out for all 4 platforms. When I say 4, I mean the Wii U, the PS4.
Yep.
Okay, so and they have the third-party servers for the other systems.
Yep.
They're like, oh hey, let's link up, let's play. Well, we're just going to link all the servers.
Microsoft can't do that.
Microsoft's not going to be doing that. They're going to be having, for every multiplayer game that you play on Microsoft, they're having their own first-party servers.
Yeah.
So that's the only downside. But honestly, it's good news for Microsoft One.
And at the same time, I mean, what games have you seen that they're even considering doing cross-platform stuff at this point?
I know people really want to do cross-platform. Like I'm one of them. But hey.
We'll see what happens. I mean, again, it's very, very early. Obviously, they haven't even come out yet, so it's the very beginning of a console cycle. Only time will tell what's going to actually happen. So, we shall see. On to the other side of the console war, PS4. They're going to be having demo kiosks set up in stores.
Yeah, they should be out right now.
Yep.
So, go find one and play it. Man, I'm excited about that one.
Any idea where?
Best Buy, your Walmarts, your GameStops, all those.
I want to point something out. We had recorded this whole segment about 20 minutes ago, and we had some issues, so we had to start over. And when we did it last time, Brian says he has no idea where
I said I figured it's at the obvious places, but I didn't know.
He has a link to the article, and he said, I didn't really read the whole article. The article is like 6 sentences long, and right in the third sentence, number 3, it says GameStop, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart.
Oh.
So that's your news guy, people.
I figured that was a pretty self-explanatory news article.
Then how come when I said where last time?
I said it's probably going to be in the obvious places.
It's okay. It's all right.
All right.
I forgive you.
You're forgiven.
Just because it made for something really funny that made me giggle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that'll be cool. I'm excited to try it out. Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix.
Woo!
Hitting the PS3 next year, 2014.
That's awesome news.
It's gonna be awesome
for Kingdom Heart fans.
Absolutely.
Kingdom Tards.
Maybe now I'll actually get to. Jeez. Maybe now I'll actually get to finish the second one.
Yeah. I remember hearing a lot of people saying that, don't get your hopes up for 2.5 anytime soon. They're going to be working on Kingdom Hearts 3, before they even think about doing that. And I kept thinking that doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't they do that? Why would you say, here's Kingdom Hearts 1, here's Kingdom Hearts 1.5 with the 3 games, and then, here's Kingdom Hearts 3, and then, okay, now here's Kingdom Hearts 2.5.
Well, why not? Look at Final Fantasy. They've released a bajillion of the ones that people don't really care that much about.
I'm just saying, what's better?
Order.
What's better to drum up some fandom and some hoopla for the?
Absolutely.
That was always my thing. I just really want it to come out because 2 is my favorite entry in the series. I have not played Birth by Sleep yet, but now that I own a 3DS, I will be partaking. But I was like, I don't want to wait that long to play 2, so they basically heard me say that, and then this article came out, and I said, good, they heard me.
I would like to see multiplayer eventually.
How does that work, though? How does a multiplayer Kingdom Hearts game, knowing the structure of the games, how does that work?
Just like Secret of Mana. You got 3 people running around on the screen doing what they want to do.
Yeah, but so when you want to play online, right, you want to have, in Kingdom Hearts, there's a leveling system. So if you jump into my game and you're like Donald at level 4, and you spent 3 or 4 hours getting to level 20, and then you come out. He
doesn't need to carry. Are you talking about carrying back over into my own game?
Yeah, or
doesn't need to do that. Just
have people jump in and play.
And then they level up your guy on your game. Or say you're at home and you're playing with your brother or something like that. Both of you are playing the exact same game. Bam, you're leveling up both characters just like that.
Okay.
the way that it's always been, it's always, to me, begged for multiplayer.
True.
So that's just kind of how I feel. I mean,
I'll concede that point, but I just don't see it happening.
I agree. Not anytime soon, at least. Maybe Kingdom Hearts, 5.
17.
Kingdom Hearts 17. All right, speaking of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 6 is coming to smartphones this winter.
I kind of plugged that in there for you and JJ.
For me and JJ?
I meant Mark and JJ.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Brian would like that too.
Well, but
if he would ever actually play it.
Well, the reason I think that's a big deal. Mobile gamers who I don't consider real gamers, like no offense to mobile gamers, but they don't really have. There's no substance to their games. Like my girlfriend plays Candy Crush, and she's like, "I'm a gamer." I'm like, "That's not. It's not a game. Like it's a game,
Candy
but
Crush.
It's not a game. It's like I get it. It's like the old Tetris gamers. Like you like puzzle games. We like story-driven games, and I feel like that real. We have. I know mobile gamers will say, "Well, we have Infinity Blade," and that's like the only one. But
what did you call it before?
The one with the sword.
The one with the sword.
I couldn't remember the name.
Man, I wish I wish I had saved that segment. Hey, what's that game? It's the mobile game. It's the one with the sword. Anyway, I don't know, Brian.
I just feel like this will give mobile gamers a chance to see what we're talking about when we say, "You guys aren't real gamers. Shut your mouths."
Wow. The Frozen North does not reflect the views and opinions that Brian
that escalated
has
quickly.
Shown.
No, I just think mobile gaming needs to, slow the down.
And we can't go another episode without me bleeping something that Brian says. That's great.
I love you all.
I don't know. I think it's fun when you're on vacation.
Yeah, but now you get to go on vacation and you'll get to play a real game.
You gush about your Vita and your game for it. So, I mean,
It's got multiple games with a plural S or a Z if you're extreme like me.
Extreme. All right. Mass Effect 3 lead writer Mac Walters discusses the new Mass Effect. Woo! Didn't really discuss it, though. He just said it's not going to be like the other ones.
Well, and he can kind of confirm that they are working on a Mass Effect game and it's going to be in the universe. But just begs the question, like, what kind of game is it going to be? Like, think about all the possibilities.
That's true.
You could have an RTS game. You could have a space...
No, I hope it's not an RTS.
But no, I'm just saying. I'm just giving you like an idea of you can have a space exploration game. You can have a starfighter game.
Knowing BioWare, it'll probably be a similar to what it is.
But what's the lead character? You're going to be a Turian. You're going to be a Quarian. You're going to be what are you going to be? A Reaper, a Prothean, perhaps.
Could be anything.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting.
True enough. Side note: one of Brian's comments were "Yay, BioWare." On that one, there were a lot of A's in the word "yay."
I love the Mass Effect series. Y'all know that I'm a Mass Tard. I'm a Mass Effect turd.
A Mass Effect turd.
A Mass Effecting Mass Effector.
Oh my! You know what? As much as you talk about it, I'm gonna have to Mass Defect from playing the rest of the series.
Oh wow!
Nope. Sorry, not gonna. That's not true. I'll definitely play it.
That would be a big goof.
That was just the only play on words I could think of.
Okay.
So. All right, and last but certainly not least, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag DLC not coming to Wii U.
More bad news for Wii U owners.
Yeah,
it's just a common thread. Honestly, it feel like third party gaming companies just loathe the Wii U. They just hate it. They don't like working with it, and it's you kind of see it with all these headlines. Like
I feel like they can develop a lot easier for the PS3 and the
so they're like,
360.
We're just gonna,
the new ones obviously, but yeah, because the Wii U is so different.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It sucks, but it makes sense. So we're just going to be seeing Zelda and Mario, and it's the year of Luigi.
Yeah,
so
we got a lot of Luigi coming out.
I don't know. I'm scared to death for Nintendo. I love Nintendo, and I will always have a place in my heart, but. Their main consoles are just not doing it for me.
Honestly, though, I think they literally... I mean, I know they're not struggling as a company.
Well, they got 3DS, obviously.
What's funny is they could just live off of their first-party platform games.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm not sorry. I said first-party platform, but I meant first-party AAA games. Like they got to bring back Star Fox. Bring back Star Fox.
That would be
bring back Star Fox. Bring back Star Fox.
I agree. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Star Fox Wii U game.
In a next-gen graphics. Oh, my goodness. But and none of that, None of that Star Fox Adventures crap. Get real.
Yeah, I agree. So, that's it for news.
That was our news.
Yay!
News!
All right. With that, we're going to move into our one review for the week. Brian and I will be taking a look at The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, developed by who?
Nintendo.
Correct. Just to clarify, I played the HD version on the Wii U.
And I played the original so years ago when it came out on the GameCube.
Yep. And I did play the original on the GameCube. I own it, but I never even remotely came close to finishing it. I didn't finish it this time either, but I'm at the very end. I'm collecting all the...
I won't ruin anything for you, but I will talk about most of the story.
I'm collecting the shards.
Sure.
The Triforce shards right now, which is pretty much the end. I'm sure I have a lot less pros than you.
Do you have the fully powered up Master Sword?
Yep.
Okay.
I do.
Just wanted to see where you're at in the game.
Yes. I literally, I looked at a guide, and literally I just have to collect the shards, and then I go fight Ganon. That's it.
But you've gone down into like Hyrule Castle.
That's like way before.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I don't want to ruin anything for you.
Yep, absolutely. My pros.
Go ahead.
One, it's beautiful. I love the art style, and the fact that like I said, I played the HD version. It looks just gorgeous. It's just awesome. The environments are beautiful. The dungeon design is cool. It's just a very, very very good looking game. And my other pro is I like that it refers to the Ocarina of Time from time to time.
Oh my god, that's a pro?
Yep. Well, because that was a great game.
Well, it refers to the Zelda. It refers to the like Ocarina of Time I call it the pivotal game. That's where the whole series pivots. So it's like the big pivotal moment.
That's deep.
Thanks.
You are a poet, sir.
Thank you.
Wow. So, what kind of pros do you have for this game?
All right, pros for me. I've got quite a bit more than JJ. First pro, visuals. We'll start with there. I've always said that not graphics, but visuals are very, very important to me in games. It has to have like a cool art direction. I love the cel-shaded graphics. I know there was a big controversy when it first came out. They were like, "Oh my god, we don't want Zelda to look so cartoony. He looks, stupid." That's how I imagine people said it.
Which is funny because Miyamoto said he was basically like, "This is how I envisioned Zelda to look in the first place."
And you know what? It's funny. They kind of found a balance. The Skyward Sword, it's kind of a half drawing, half...
A little bit, yeah.
It's kind of a half... And they actually said that's like where they want to stay with the series. I think Ocarina of Time and then later Twilight Princess really pushed the realist.
I really haven't in any Zelda game I've played, I've never really had one that I thought looked bad or that I didn't like, well,
Sure.
other than, Zelda
one.
2.
Yeah. But another pro for the game, I loved the world in Wind Waker. I don't want to ruin anything for JJ. Do you understand where you're at? Like, do you understand the world? Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Well, explain it to me so I know I don't
want to ruin it for the people on the.
Oh well, so you know that it's the flooded version of. Okay, so it's like you're in Hyrule, but it's not Hyrule. It's
correct.
It's
Hyrule's underwater.
Yeah, exactly. It's the end of that world basically, and you're on these.
They talk about that at the beginning of the game.
Good. You're on these disparate islands, and love that whole sailing aspect of it. I thought it was just and opened up, made the world seem huge. That's another one of my pros. Obviously, the music, Zelda music's always good. I always put Zelda pros as gameplay. I've always loved the gameplay. It's very Ocarina of Time-esque gameplay. So if you love Ocarina, you're gonna love Wind Waker. And actually, this is where JJ and I diverge. Control scheme, I loved it. It was very smooth, very easy to use. Obviously, I'm talking about the GameCube, so this is with the GameCube controller.
Yes, the Wii U controls are quite a bit different.
Yeah. So those are most of my pros. A story, location, visuals, music. Just one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. I think it's top 3 for me, Zelda games-wise.
Cool. Well, you probably have a much shorter list of cons.
Okay. Cons, the sailing system got repetitive after a while.
Yep.
It's back and forth, back and forth. You know, after a while, you just kind of put the controller down and you wait. That was one of my small gripes with it. I thought that there was a lot less dungeon. There are a lot less dungeons in this game than previous Zelda games. It was the first Zelda game that came out after Ocarina of Time.
You know what, though? I will say to kind of contrast that, I would thought the same thing. But if you think about it, like with the amount of stuff that you do, and I can't believe I'm defending it, but with the amount of stuff you do, a lot of the stuff in the overworld is almost dungeon-esque.
That's true. And I haven't played Skyward Sword, but I heard they did that with Skyward Sword as well, where there's not really dungeons, but their overworld is kind of set up like a dungeon.
Yeah.
So I can see that as being a point. But I've always loved the original Zelda structure where just dungeon, new boss.
I do too.
I love that. I love that feeling going in. Ooh, what power up I'm going to get this time?
Yep.
That was really fun to me. But those are very few cons. Other than that, I love the game.
Cool. That it?
That's it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let me crack my knuckles. All right, cons. Number 1, obviously, like Brian said, the controls. Here's my problem with it. For one, I imagine GameCube had this same issue. Everything is like way too sensitive and not very like responsive in the way that you want to respond. Like if all I want to do is barely go over the edge of something, nope, can't do that. I can either hang off the edge or I can jump 8 feet forward.
I think that's every Zelda game ever.
That's ridiculous. Like let me just, walk off the edge a little bit or something. My biggest issue, I mean that's easily dealt with. Same with the doors.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Small potatoes.
You get to a freaking door and you want to open it and you push A to open it and it's like, nope, you weren't standing close enough. And you just bash your head into it instead. Link is so smart. But again, small gripes on that. My biggest issue, and I told you about this earlier, the Wii U, the gamepad. Like when I was playing, I was going through and I would use the bow, or I would use the boomerang, or I would use the hook shot or something, and I would notice that like when I was aiming, I would like Link would be kind of like moving a little bit, and I'm like, oh man, I understand that you move in real life, so they're trying to add a little bit of that in there, but it's really hard to aim because it's like every time I hit the button to shoot it, it jerks a little bit, and I'm like, dang it. It took me forever to realize that they have motion controls integrated into that. So while I'm trying to aim with the control stick, I can also aim by moving the actual gamepad. So I was trying to do both things at once, apparently, and didn't even know it. Well, you can't turn that off. So I got used to using the gamepad.
And you didn't want to do the aiming with motion.
And doing the motion one, I mean, it's ridiculously hard, especially if you're sitting down playing, because you don't want to move all over the place.
That's a feature that's very... the Vita has that feature for Uncharted. So I got used to that. So I'm looking at JJ like, you noob.
Well, yeah, but that's a portable thing. You can
Sure.
literally walk around and do whatever you need to do. I just want to sit on my couch and play this thing.
Right.
I can't do that because it's making me move around and twist and all this stuff, and I don't want to do that. And the fact that it was making me think that my aim was off when it was actually me just,
Right.
moving, because I can't sit 100% still. So that was annoying. Another con that I have is the story. Now, look.
I'd like to understand why.
Think about it.
And you haven't beat it yet, so...
You're right, I haven't.
The ending of this game is by far the best ending to any Zelda game ever, so I feel like...
I will play it to completion,
Yeah.
for sure. I know that. But to me, just from what I've played, it literally feels like they got together in a room, sat down, they were like, what if Hyrule was underwater? And then somebody else said, okay, what else? And they were like, we have to have other stuff in there too? Oh. And then they just shoehorned in everything else.
No, that's
what it feels like.
Well, no.
Other than that, it's just save the world.
The ending ties it in a bow. I'm not going to give anything away, but... So Hyrule's been flooded.
Yep.
That's obvious at the beginning of the game. And it's over. Hyrule is done. When you wake up as the character you start as Link, the new Link, there's no Hyrule. It's done. The world you used to know as Zelda is gone and forever. It ended. The world ended. The goddesses flooded it. They were like, we have seen this cycle repeat so many times. We're done with Hyrule. Goodbye. Right? But what they didn't realize is the cycle will always repeat. There's never a break to it. And so I felt it was extremely well done that they showed that, like, even in the end of Hyrule, there's still the link to the cycle. You still have the power Triforce. You still have the wisdom Triforce. You still have the bravery. Is it bravery? Wisdom, power, and bravery. Yes,
Courage,
bravery, courage, whatever. So I found that story so fascinating. It's like you're in a world that you don't even recognize. You're like, whoa, what the hell's all these disparate islands out here for? And I just thought that they tied it up. I mean, Jay just said threw it in there. I can see that side of it, but I look at it a little bit deeper.
I see where you're coming from, but it just seems very, very they could have done that with anything. With any Zelda game, you want to explore everything and you want to be like, what's this place and what's that place? This brings me to my next con, which is the fact that it's very tedious and it takes forever to get anywhere. Even when you get the speed upgrades and stuff like that, it's still, my gosh. I mean, like you said, you can set the controller down and just sail for a while, and it takes forever to get from point A to point B. And when you get there, like the place on the map that's on the grid is huge, and the place you're trying to get to is always just this tiny little island. The whole game is just a handful of islands.
Yep.
But they're so far between that, I don't know. I think it just shoots itself in the foot because of that.
So I have mixed feelings about that because, like I said, I think that Wind Waker, you have to be a JJ's a Zelda fan. Don't get him wrong, but I'm Zelda is the most close to my heart as it can be. There's I think one other series of games that comes close to the nostalgia and the feeling I have for Zelda. So having that kind of feeling, you're traveling over this and you're like, man, this used to be Hyrule. I used to be riding Epona here. It's done. That whole aspect of it really kind of hit home with me. It was awesome.
You know what, though? I probably would have felt a lot closer to that if I could go underwater and see what it looked like or something like that. I think that would have been an awesome feature.
I mean, you do get to go down to the castle.
Yeah, but it doesn't even feel like you're underwater.
Right.
I mean, the only reason I knew it was underwater was because I looked it up online. And it said, "Oh, well, you go underwater to Hyrule." I'm like, "That was underwater. There's air, and you walk around."
There's a reason for that, and the ending explains it all. I'm telling you, the ending ties it all up.
So, but anyways, like I said, it's very, very tedious. The items that you have to get are without a guide. This game would be a nightmare.
It's tough.
There's just no direction pointing you where to go or anything like that. It's insane. I can't even imagine what it would be like to. You get one item, and you're like, "I have to go find another one." Oh. I guess I better go search the entire world to try to find somebody that'll tell me what I'm supposed to do. And like I said, it already takes a million years to get from one area to the next. So I don't want to spend that much time doing this. I just want to get to the next part. So, I guess, I can totally chalk that up to my impatience. Absolutely. And I understand that. But man, I just wanted it to be over with, My fourth con is kind of shallow and just a personal thing. The stupid bow.
That's a classic Zelda move.
I hate the stupid bow. There's no aiming reticle on it. And, I complained about this on the three of us have a conversation on Facebook, and I complained about this, and I was like, there's no aiming reticle on the bow, and it's really hard to aim. And Mark had said, to be fair, in real life, there's no aiming reticle on a bow.
Hear, Mark.
However, there's no aiming reticle on a grappling hook in real life,
yes, there is.
But there is in this game.
There is such a...
So...
I use grappling hooks twice a day, and there is definitely an aiming reticle in real life.
Yeah. So why is there one on the grappling hook and not on the bow? That's annoying and makes me angry.
Yes.
Anyway, so the last gripe that I have is the speech.
Yeah.
Not that. I mean, what you have to read through. They take 30 years just to tell you goodbye.
Oh,
and they're like, "Oh, and have a good day. I can't believe I'm talking to the hero. Yeah, you're awesome. Okay, bye. Okay, just one more thing. Oh, I really love it." And I'm like, okay, seriously? First of all, don't put 3 words of text on each page, because then I have to just sit there and push the A button over and over and over again. I don't even care about half the text anymore. Maybe that's why I didn't like the story that much, because I didn't want to read half of it because it was making me just click left and right and left and right. It was just annoying. There's so much text spread out over 1,000 pages on each, person's dialogue, that it was like, good Lord, just be done talking and shut up.
Never had that problem.
Ugh, man, go back and play it again, and I guarantee you'll see that.
Okay.
For sure. So that was my last gripe. So
right on.
I know it sounds like it, but I didn't hate this game. I really didn't. As far as recommending or not, I think it's pretty obvious you recommend it.
Well, it's one of the most divisive games in Zelda history. I remember It was a huge deal when it came out, and there are a lot of Wind Waker haters and a lot of Wind Waker lovers. For me, if you are a big Zelda fan, obviously I recommend this 100%. It's a very solid entry into the Zelda universe. If you're like JJ and you're less, all about Zelda, it might be a check it out. And then if you don't like Zelda at all, Wind Waker's not one you want to start with. And that's kind of how I'll say it. So it's got a tiered level recommendation. If you're a Zelda fan, if you haven't played Wind Waker and you're a Zelda fan, I'm going to go ahead and take your Zelda fan card and rip it up because you're obviously not a Zelda fan. If you're like JJ and you like Zelda games, but you're not considered like a big Zelda fan, you're going to have a lot of the same issues JJ had with it. So it's kind of more of a lukewarm recommend. Like, hey, check it out. You'll probably like it. But if you don't like Zelda, do not start with Wind Waker. That's how I'll say it.
The big thing that makes it challenging, too, is just like I said, finding out where to go. As far as fighting and all that stuff, it is a cakewalk.
Well, sure.
I didn't die once. Like I said, I did that one boss fight, and that was the first time I ever even had to heal myself.
Was that the big bone one in the lava?
The one in the sand.
The fly. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Who has the little worms that come out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was annoying. But, I mean, I still got him. You could not have said it. I could not have said it any better. I agree 100% with what you just said. If you are a Zelda fan, chances are you probably already played it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as far as the Wii U version, I would say go ahead and skip it if you've already played the regular one. It's not. I mean, it's cool for the visuals, but not at the price that it's at, for sure. If you've got a friend who's got it, just go look at it there or something. If you're like me and you like Zelda, it's worth checking out if you're really curious about it. If you're not, I think it's more than okay to skip it. And if you don't like Zelda,
don't start with that entry.
Definitely do not.
That's not an entry-level Zelda game.
You definitely, I would say, Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past, or even the first one.
The first one, yep.
So, but this one's just not up there for me. So, not a bad game, though.
Yep.
So, I like the way you put that. Tiered. That's good.
I mean, because, I love the crap out of the game. And that's because I'm a diehard Zelda fan. I've loved Zelda since the day I was born. Or 6, whatever. Whichever came first.
Just popped out. He's like, Zelda. All right. Well, with that, we are going to move into our top 5 for the week. Top 5 gateway games. Brian, what's a gateway game?
A gateway game would be like a gateway drug, where you walk up into an unsuspecting person who does not do drugs, and you give him said gateway drug, and then he gets hooked into drugs. So it's the same way with games. I found this top 5 one of the hardest.
It is. It's a tougher one. Yeah.
And the reason I found it difficult for myself is because I've been a lifelong gamer. So I can't it's hard for me to put myself in the mindset of somebody who doesn't game because I feel like those people are not real people.
Yep.
Somebody who's not a gamer, it's like I don't even relate to them on a weird like a level because they're stupid. Obviously,
like those portable gamers.
No, portable gamers are fine. I'm talking about the phone gamers or whatever.
Cell phone gamers?
Cell phone gamers.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. I mean, what we mean when we say gateway games is like what's going to get a person who doesn't play games or a person who does play games but isn't really big on story-focused games. Like, I mean, obviously, if you're just saying to get somebody into video games, you could say like Wii Bowling, Mario Party.
We're trying to get you into the games that we love.
Correct. We're talking like just story-focused gaming. So chances are these are going to work for people who are into, they've played video games before. They're just kind of looking for something a little bit more.
Like just imagine
to pull them in.
Just as what JJ said, just imagine that you're walking like in the rough streets of Chicago, and you come upon a dark alley, and JJ or I are standing there with a trench coat, and like, hey buddy, hey, you like story? You're like yeah, I love story. You like interactive entertainment, and you're like, I love interactive entertainment, and we'll be like, we got just the thing for you. That's kind of how we're.
And then you say, I don't know.
Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know if I like it. And then JJ's like, you shut your mouth and you play this game. That's kind of how we're. That's kind of how we're judging it now. I don't know how JJ did his top 5. I did ones for me that were kind of my gateway games to endear me to games more than they are.
I looked at games that I thought would appeal to anybody.
See, and it's hard for me to do that because I don't know what I don't know what appeals to you as a person. So
I'm basically like I looked at like the 5 games on my thing. It to me they all feel like virtually anybody could play them and enjoy them. Like everybody could find something for them in that game.
And with my list, the games are very simple. They're very dumbed down mechanics. There's not anything complicated, and they're games that when I was playing through my gaming, when I was playing games, each one of these games on my list upped my love for games more. So I figured that would be a good way those would be gateway games. If they can make me love games even more, then they can make you love games to start with. So that's kind of how I went.
I hear you.
Clearing it up.
Okay. Real quick, I want to give one honorable mention. I wanted to put this on my list, but I just the 5 that I have, I think are better fits. So this would be definitely number 6 for me. Tales of Symphonia.
Okay.
It's a GameCube game. They're actually remaking it in HD on PS3, coming out soon. I'm definitely going to get it. It's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
It's a Tales game, but it's excellent because you get in. It's again, like I said with Tales of Zelda, the characters are all wonderful and funny, and you really just get sucked into the world, the story, the characters themselves, everything.
Did you see they're coming out with the Tales of Zelda too?
Yeah, of course I did.
Nice.
Come on.
Oh, come on,
did
man.
I? So just honorable mention, Tales of Symphonia for sure. Great game. All right, number 5. My number 5 is the Kingdom Hearts series. Pretty self-explanatory. You've got Disney characters all over the place. Everybody knows Disney. Everybody knows that everybody. I think when people think about video games and adventure games, they think you're just going in beating up the bad guys and calling it a day. That's basically what Kingdom Hearts is. But you've got your Disney characters in, and it introduces you to Final Fantasy characters, which might make you want to branch out into, something like that. Especially if you're sitting down with somebody and watching them play this, you can be like, oh, this character's from this game, and this is what it's about, and blah, blah, blah. And they could be like, oh, that sounds interesting. Don't tell them about Final Fantasy VIII, though, because that's... No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I liked it. I liked it. Don't hate me. I did. I liked it. I liked 8. I just know that it's not very popular. Brian, number 5.
Well, I'd like to say an honorable mention was JJ's 5, Kingdom Hearts. I found I couldn't put it on my list because the games are a bit too in-depth as you play to really appeal to a newbie gamer. So I wanted to put it on my list, but I didn't. So my number 5...
That's probably why Mark didn't finish it.
Hey-yo! My number 5 is, in this game, actually, this game for me got me into story games. So before I played this game, I was playing, Mario, and just I never really cared about the story. But Final Fantasy 2, aka 4, was the first time I played a game when there was story that I cared about, and I was like, oh man, this game is exciting. I mean, you sit a gamer down and you say, hey, play this game. Maybe they glom onto the cool characters and the story. I find that was it's a little bit complicated for somebody who's not a gamer, just because it's an RPG. But it's like the most basic of RPGs. And that's why I put it on there. Hey, play this game. It's not, you can give them like a 5-second rundown, and then they can be off and running, and you don't have to sit them down for like an hour. So I feel like that was a good entry in number 5.
Very nice. My number 4 is the Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. It was a toss-up. I wanted to put a Zelda game on there. It was either going to be this one or A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
The main reason I didn't put A Link to the Past was because I feel like with how gaming is now, people are going to relate more and want to get more out of a 3D world. And, they see that. And, Ocarina of Time is just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Such a great game. So, yeah, what else can you say? It's Ocarina of Time. Yep. It's fantastic. So, that's my number 4.
My number 4, again, this is another game that ramped me up gaming-wise. The Halo series. I played all of them except for 4. But I got my first taste of it when I was in college playing the original Halo. Believe it or not, I did not play the multiplayer in that game for a long time. I actually really enjoyed the single-player story. I still do to this day. In fact, I find that the story in Halo intrigues me way more than the multiplayer. The multiplayer
I feel the same way.
The multiplayer for me was fun up until I think Halo 4 or Halo Reach. I liked Halo 3 multiplayer. Halo 2, I didn't like Halo 2 because of the swords. I'll get into that another day. But Halo 1, I played that, but the story to Halo. You sit somebody down, you say go, you play... You
can play co-op with them.
Yeah, that you can sit down with them, you can co-op with them, and the engaging story is what sucked me in. So yep. I'm sure it'll suck somebody else in.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine who is... he loves Halo multiplayer, but he is so, into the whole lore and the story and everything. He's got all the books, and I mean, it really it's a cool universe. It really is. Number 3. My number 3 is the same as Brian's number 5. It is Final Fantasy 2/4. I mean, Brian pretty much said it all. It was my first RPG that I ever played, and I immediately fell in love with it. The music, for one, is amazing.
Oh yeah.
The characters are great, and it's such a basic, ground floor RPG. Literally, like, you don't have to worry about character customization or anything like that. You just go into your battle screen, you fight, and if you level up, chances are you'll get an ability. That's it. You buy armor, put it on, you just go through the game, you stop the bad guy from taking over the world, and there's just so much to it. It's such a great game, and it's short. It's only, first time through, it'll probably take you about 20, 25 hours, but when I play it, I can probably beat it in like maybe 12, 13. So, I mean, it's just such a great game. It really is.
It's good.
So that's my number 3, Final Fantasy 2.
My number 3, and I toss this back and forth, but it's the Half-Life series, and this is why it's on there. If somebody came to me and was like, "Hey man, I've heard about this PC gaming, and I'd really like to get into PC gaming. What's the first game I should play on the PC?" I would recommend a Half-Life game first and foremost, out of any other game on the PC. The level of simplicity it has, it's a first-person shooter, so they're all simple anyway, but it's engaging. There's a great story behind it. I feel like once they play that, they'll be like, "Oh man, I'm in for the long haul gaming wise." Half-Life was a big eye opener to me. I just loved it. I feel like if you sat somebody down and had them play Half-Life, JJ, that they would love games even more than they do already.
I'll play it eventually. I'll play it when you get to Final Fantasy 2. So, number 2. My number 2 is the World of Warcraft. Anybody has heard of WoW, one way or another. Whether they have played it, whether they know somebody who plays it, chances are you do and you don't even know it. Or, just because you heard something about it on the news or whatever. You can't deny the impact this game has had, and with good reason. Because there literally is something for everybody in that game. It's easy to learn, but it's hard to master. You can be as casual as you want, or you can be as serious as you want. There is, like I said, something for everybody in there. And the fact that you can play with millions of people, icing on the cake. So, World of Warcraft, my number 2.
Very good. My number 2 is The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo in the entertainment system. JJ said it. He kind of wrestled between Ocarina and... but I went with what's the simplest... Because I kept trying to think from a non-gamer's perspective. So, throwing them into a game where they have to use, analog stick, all that stuff, it's like a bit more complicated. So I was like, I'll put A Link to the Past in there. Although I think both are just as groundbreaking. A Link to the Past is simple. It's go to here, this dungeon, you get a new item. Oh, this item allow you to get to here, which will take you here. I like to call that there's a name, I can't remember the name for I used to call it the gaming structure, where it's got the Metroid style, where it's like, this item you have to get before you can get to here. You see this part of the world, but you can't get there yet.
Yep.
And you have to go figure it out. So what it does is let me try to explain this. It keeps you... The world's huge, but it doesn't just throw you in the world and say, boom, here's the whole world, go. It keeps it focused, because you can't go everywhere at first. So you're like, oh, I can't go here, so let me go here. And it kind of, without being linear, it kind of is linear. But you don't feel like it's linear, because you can go, hey, I'm going to go here, here, here.
Yep.
But it kind of funnels you into the right place to go. And then as you get further in the game, and they feel like you have more grasp on it, they open up more and more and more and more and more. And you have more moves, more things, and that's kind of how you get a gamer to become a gamer, is you make him feel like he's in control of everything, but at the same time you keep it slow and you start building
and
up.
I mean, you can easily understand something like that, because most people, when they think about games like that, they'll come up to you and they'll see you playing, like, what level are you on? You can, with Zelda, I mean, they're all the same way. It's like, well, there's no levels, but I can't go to this area until I unlock this item.
I'm in the forest dungeon, or I'm in the ice dungeon, right?
So
yeah.
I mean, they're just... Zelda games are great. All right, our number 1s. My number 1 is The Secret of Mana.
Nice.
I think this game is just phenomenal, as you've heard me gush over it before. I mean, what can I say that I haven't said about it already? It's essentially 3-player Zelda with experience points, and that's one of the things that always bugged me about Zelda is I hate having to fight but not getting anything out of it. I love having an experience system. I love being able to level up and get stronger, and that's exactly what Secret of Mana is. You play through the game, and not only do you play through and you have a great experience with the puzzles, the world, the adventure, the story, but you can play with 3 people. So all you have to do is just pick up a controller, sit next to them, and you're both good to go. It is phenomenal. If you have not played this game, check it out for sure. It is on it's on the Wii Virtual Console, and it is. I'm not sure how much it is. I think it's like $8 or something. Totally more than worth it at this point. It is such a fantastic game. Treat yourself and check it out. My number 1, The Secret of Mana.
Okay, my number 1, and it is one of my most beloved games of all time. If I could frame this game, I would. It is Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. What can I say about this game? It has the structure I was just talking about, where it's a vast... You land on a planet, and you can go anywhere you want, or you seemingly can. However, you have to get certain items before you can progress. I call that the noob level. I call it the noob gaming system, where they keep it simple. I love games where... Maybe it's because I'm an old school gamer, but I love games where it's like, oh, I'm going to get to see a new cool boss in this level. That's how I love Zelda. That's why I love Metroid. It's like, oh, I'm going down in this area. What sweet looking boss. And think of some of the boss. You played Super Metroid, right?
Nope. I'm not a Metroid fan. At all.
Unbelievable.
I can't stand Metroid, to be honest.
Mark, JJ has not played Super Metroid.
Has he?
I've played it.
Oh, okay.
I hope you have.
Sorry, Mark.
Okay, so you've never played Super Metroid?
Man, I hope he hasn't, because that'd be awesome. Then you'd be like, oh, man.
What game did you play of Metroid that you didn't like?
I've played the first one, I've played the second one, and I've played Metroid Fusion.
What didn't you like about them?
They all feel like the same game to me.
Well, they are. I mean, that's a true.
Side scrollers are just not my thing.
Okay. This game is something I would... If somebody was to say, what game would you recommend for me to get into gaming? Plop them down, plug this game in, and then play it. And you don't even need to say anything to them. Yeah, there's a button to shoot and a button to jump. That's how you start. And then as you get going...
That makes me not want to play it at all.
But you're a gamer. You're not a non-gamer. Well, you don't want to throw a gamer and go, this button does this, and if you do this button, then if you go left, right, up, down, R, 2, 3, 4, 2, select button, then you can, you don't want to have it complicated.
2, 3, 4, 2.
They're not going to get into a game if they get frustrated. But Super Metroid starts out so simply. Just go shoot that guy. Okay, go shoot that guy. Oh no, I got this power up. Now I can turn it into a ball.
I get lost in those games.
And that's the other thing. It's exploratory. So they're just fascinated by the fact that they can go wherever they want, and they're like, oh, what do I do now? It's just play Super Metroid, JJ. Play it.
He's looking at the ceiling like, why, God? Why has he not played this game?
I'm just so confused.
I never had any interest.
Okay. It's one of those games, though, that if you haven't played it, then you are dumb, and I hate you. I love it, though, and I feel like that's the best gateway game is Super Metroid.
I mean, Metroid seems like a good guy, so...
I hate you so much right now. I hate you so much. Okay, to clarify, Metroid is the little alien, and Samus Aran... Samus Aran is the bounty hunter that hunts them.
And is a girl.
Spoiler alert, she is a girl.
It's not really a spoiler at this point.
Yeah, true. Damn it, you.
Did you know that you can see Samus in Mario RPG?
No, really?
Bam.
Cool.
I knew something that you didn't.
Well, that's cool. The fact that you haven't ever played the series makes you stupid.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I understand it's not for everybody, but it is for everybody, so you need to play it.
Another flawless argument.
Yeah, see?
It's not, but it is. Mm-hmm. I like that game with the sword better.
Yes, the sword game is awesome.
Yeah. All right, so that's our top 5. Top 5 gateway games. Not too shabby.
Yeah, I feel like we gatewayed it pretty good. I feel like we were in that alley and we were really just like, hey, you youngin'.
I feel like we created a few gatewaiters.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a gamer, and we've just inspired you to become a gamer, my first question to you is, why are you listening to this podcast?
Yeah,
but
no
continue to do it.
Please do.
But why?
All right, with that, we will go ahead and move on to our bi-weekly question. Brian, we haven't done a noise yet. Give me a noise for a bi-weekly question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, last episode we asked and posted on the Facebook page, do you feel that games like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty deserve the negative press for certain instances where someone commits an act of violence or breaks the law in real life? We got a few responses. Let's see. Steve says, in most cases, I think people were bound to abuse something else, possibly leading up to violence if video games weren't around. Environment and other things play a bigger part, I think. But no denying it can happen. As for now, I think the media are just bullying and tend to be coming from older generations who cannot connect or relate to the medium at all. And he says he was playing Resident Evil and Doom in grade school. That's a good point. Like, I think the generation gap is a huge issue.
Well, yeah.
With it, for sure. I imagine there was probably like something back then that...
Do you not remember that in our parents' generation, when the TV came out, it was a big, like, you'll rot your brain, you'll...
How could I remember that?
Oh, I'm saying, like, don't you remember your parents talking about that?
Not really.
No, okay.
No. I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I've heard, like, stories about that stuff.
New technology is always going to confuse the generation. Like, when we're their age and our kids are running around with, like, integrated Google Glass eyewear, eye socket virtual reality systems. I mean, I won't be because I'm going to always be a gamer, but I'm sure that some people in our generation won't get it, and they'll be like, this is causing havoc.
Sure, absolutely. And, people always fear / like want to blame things that they don't understand. And I think that's what Steve is saying, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
So, you know what? And he also brings up another good point. He made another post here. But, like, anytime you see a crime or, a murder or something like that on TV, there's a lot of times where they'll bring up the fact that they found video games in the home.
Yeah.
Oh. And it's like, so what?
He probably also had pictures in his home.
Yeah, and Steve says, find me someone who doesn't own some sort of a console at this point. That's such a stupid thing for them to look for and blame on. Joe says, if video games cause violence, why is it that there aren't 5-man kill squads roaming around everywhere looking for death matches?
That's a good point.
He says, why do the actions of relatively very few people mean that the whole group is flawed? I agree. That's...
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think as gamers, we're all going to be on the same side of this argument. I think there are very few people out there who do get fantasy and reality confused and mixed up, but that's not the game's fault.
That would happen regardless.
Yeah, that's not the game's fault. That is the fault of whoever's supposed to be teaching them the difference between the two, or if they're just messed up in the head.
Look, here's the thing. Yes, a lot of times gaming has a stigma to it that it's a loner, and there's some truth to that. There's a lot of people who, rather than have social interaction, would rather stay in and play a game. Maybe they have mental issues. Typically, I mean, this question, people who ask me that, I usually rudely dismiss them because honestly, they're stupid. Because they're basically saying that a video game told somebody to do something, right? Well, if you walked into somebody's house and it had a picture framed and it had big words that said, go kill somebody with a gun, would you immediately say we need to ban words? Like,
it's true.
But that's what they're saying. Oh, look at that picture. It's huge. It says, go kill somebody with a gun. And obviously this influenced the guy. No, it didn't influence the guy. It's a picture with words on it. Which is what a video game is. It's a picture that moves. The only thing that can influence a person to kill somebody is that person. Now, maybe they have mental issues, and maybe gaming a violent game doesn't help with their mental issues, but the problem is that they have mental issues. That's where it stops. It doesn't go, oh man, they have a shoe in their house. Most killers that kill have shoes in their house. We probably should ban shoes.
People who do these things, chances are they're going to be doing them with or without the video games. Yeah,
they have issues. Maybe have abusive home, what have you. Video games is definitely like Steve said. Who doesn't have a video game console?
Yeah. And to be honest, I think for a lot of people it's a release. If anything, it's an escape. It's a way to get out from feeling that way.
It's like every other. Video games are like every other form of.
There have been plenty of times where I've just wanted to hit something, and I'll go into I'll play a game, and I'll just blow some stuff up, and I'll feel a hell of a lot better.
Video games are like every other form of entertainment and art. They're an escape from reality. Yep. So if you're gonna blame video games, you got to blame art. Blame all art. It's art. They make people kill people.
Darn it, art.
Darn it.
And Matt says he's never played GTA. Or he says never played GTA and wanted to go out and beat hookers.
Yeah, it's a silly argument. It's a silly argument, but I will say that if your 8-year-old is playing Grand Theft Auto 5, he's probably not going to turn out good. Just like if he's watching rated R
movies. If your
8-year-old
is playing Grand Theft Auto 5, chances are he also plays Xbox Live.
What I'm getting at is people are saying, "Oh, video games create violent people because there's violence in video games." And it can inform somebody's youth. I can totally agree with that. If you're watching rated R movies at age 6, 7, 8 that have grotesque violence, or you're letting them read books that are definitely not geared towards kids, or if you're letting them play video games that definitely aren't geared towards kids, then yes, they are going to probably have some issues growing up if they're not well adjusted. So we don't blame the book for getting into that kid's hands.
But I don't think it's I don't think it's because of that stuff that they're going to go out and do these things.
I'm saying it's not helping.
No, I think it desensitizes them a little bit, but that's about it.
You're missing my point. Who do we blame? Do we blame the book for jumping into that kid's hands that was a violent book? No, you blame the kid. Why does he have that book? Where are his parents? What is going on?
Well, that's what I said before.
Yeah, and that's what my point is if you're going to blame video games for violence out in the world, take away video games. Go ahead. See what happens. Oh, bro, there's going to be violence in the world. It's not going to solve a damn thing because it's not the cause.
Yeah.
And so that's my whole point. It's not the cause, so you can blame it on video games all you want. All you're doing is nothing. You're not doing anything.
True enough.
You're just blaming something that's an inanimate object.
Well, it's because they always have to have something to blame.
Well, sure.
So
it's human nature.
Absolutely. Well, all right then. That does it for our bi-weekly question. Next episode, our bi-weekly question is going to be, Grand Theft Auto has gone above and beyond anything else in the entertainment industry thus far sales-wise, meaning the whole spiel about $1 billion in 3 days.
It outsold Harry Potter and Avatar, which are the 2 highest grossing movies.
Yep.
It hit $1 billion in 3 days. They hit it in 19, so it gives you an idea of the impact.
They absolutely, it shattered any of those records. What do you think this means for the gaming industry as a whole? So I'll be posting that at some point after I post this episode on the Facebook page. I think that's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to add there, Burn?
Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus is going to be launching soon, and I cannot wait.
Ratchet and Clank.
I love that series.
Yeah, I'm sure it's about as good as Metroid.
Oh, man, if you heard that collective thud, that's like half of the internet's head hitting the desk.
Totally don't yell at me. I'm sorry. I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game, and
that's fine. But the not playing a Metroid game is the weird
part. I've played Metroid games. But
not liking them is the weird part.
Don't like them. Yeah, sorry. Don't blame the game. Blame me. Wait, no.
Yeah,
it's not what I. Dang it. Oh man. Please let us know what you think of the show. Email us at frozennorthpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/thefrozennorth. We got a Twitter up at FN Podcast. And please subscribe to and rate us on iTunes. Give us 1 star, give us 5 stars, 4, 3, 2, whatever.
Yeah, tell us what you like, what you don't like. I mean, you can literally shape the show if you just talk to us.
Please tell us what's up. Yep. We like feedback, positive, negative. It's all good. Just let us know.
We are here for you. And ladies, if you like how handsome I am, tell me that too.
I'll just tell you guys right now, he looks great for radio.
I am gorgeous.
So, absolutely.
I'm gorgeous.
Join us again in 2 weeks for episode 9, where we are, or episode 10, I'm sorry. This is episode 9, for our top 5 video game heroes. We've done villains. We're going to be doing heroes.
The heroes episode, guys.
Episode 10, man.
Oh,
that's our first milestone.
Wow, I might actually wear full clothes for this next podcast.
We're going to be doing something a little bit special for that episode too, so please stay tuned. And with that, my name is JJ.
My name is Mark. No, it's Brian. I think we'll agree here. But we're signing off now.
Thanks for listening and keep on gaming.
This song was made available via the Creative Commons Attribution License. The song, Somewhere in the Stars, was written and produced by SoundCloud user _TWC.